I told him to his face, I would smash you, little guy.
The year 2023 came to its beautiful end, and you gotta admit, what a year it was for the fighting world. We got to see one of the most epic battles in the history of sport. We got to see Gervonta Davis shutting Garcia's mouth after he destroyed him with a body shot. We got our own game. And you can't forget the rising star of Japan, the one and only Naoya Inoue. Now that guy had 2 massive fights this year, and he won both of them by knockout. Most people had him as the fighter of the year, but hey, there can only be one man. And the man crowned as the best fighter of the year is Terence "Bud" Crawford. Yep, who else if not the man himself, Terence Crawford. Let's just say that Naoya Inoue wasn't too happy about Bud being named as the fighter of the year. Oh, this Japanese boxer thought that he deserved it more than anyone. When Bud came to know of this, well, he had a good laugh. And you know, when it comes to guys like Terence Crawford, he's got a huge ego. So obviously, he was gonna troll Naoya. And what happened next is gonna knock your socks right off your feet. So without further ado, let's take a deep dive into this drama. When the year was coming to end, everyone was talking about who the fighter of the year is gonna be. Everyone had their own preferences, but there were 2 names that were suggested by almost everyone. One is the American boxer, Terence Crawford, and the other is the Japanese boxer, Naoya Inoue. It had to be between these 2, and when it was announced that Terence Crawford came on top, well, now this raised a lot of eyeballs. And the talk of the town was that, how did they name fighter of the year to a guy who's fought once this year? It didn't really add up. But hey, we're talking about Terence Crawford. He was going to start running his mouth once named the fighter of the year. And so he did. Bud said, I'm the only fighter to beat a top 5 pound-for-pound fighter this year, and the way I beat him was unmatched. 2023, fighter of the year is me. Some might say, but I only fought one time, but that one fight was bigger than any of the others. Crawford didn't just stop here, and after boasting, he went ahead and started taking digs at the Japanese monster. Crawford said, and I gotta say Inoue had a great run too, but not the greatest. No doubt Inoue is a good fighter, but not the best. Yes, he did have an amazing performance this year, but not legendary. He added, I was surprised people were talking like he stood a chance at being the fighter of the year. It's my fight with Errol that is still being talked about. I bet you can't even name who he fought. I'm Terence Crawford, and I'm the #1 pound for pound for a reason. Damn, quite a bold statement by Bud, but it's not like he has anything to be afraid of, unless he plans to step into the ring with Naoya Inoue. Yep, let's just say that this Japanese boxer is not Crawford's biggest fan at the moment. The monster is furious. He was Bud's main competitor. The undefeated 4-division world champion has posted 2 impressive victories. Know that he wasn't named fighter of the year. He had a lot to say. I don't know what just happened. I had 2 of the best performances ever witnessed in boxing this year. I stole the show. I became a star. 2023 was my year. They gave it to a guy who only had 1 fight. Make it make sense. I mean, even ESPN hinted I was going to be the fighter of the year. But hey, congratulations to Bud. Oh, you can see the bitterness in his tone. Yep, the monster's not having it. And he's got a solid point. I mean, yes, ESPN did hinted that Inoue will be the fighter of the year 2023. But well, that's not what happened. They gave it to Crawford, and you gotta wonder why. Well, don't forget one thing. Crawford isn't just your #1 pound for pound boxer. He's also the face of boxing. He's got all the support from the fans. Everyone talks about him, and he's a legend in this space. Yes, he may have only 1 fight this year, but without Terence Crawford, boxing wouldn't be where it is right now. Bud is everything Mayweather wasn't. Money ruined boxing when he influenced fighters that they can maintain their undefeated records by taking easy fights. Well, Crawford, on the other hand, that he's still undefeated after taking risky fights. I mean, look who he fought this year. Errol Spence. Now, if you know boxing, you'd know that Errol Spence is no joke. That guy was also undefeated before he stepped into the ring with Bud, and almost everyone had Spence as the favorite going into that fight. But what Terence Crawford did to him? Yeah, no one saw that coming. It was a total mismatch. Terence Crawford wiped the floor with him. He made him kiss the canvas 3 times before knocking him out. This broke the internet. Terence Crawford was the first male boxer to become 2-weight undisputed champion this year. Such a feat makes him the standout star of 2023. Bud beat Errol Spence Jr. handily in what was billed a 50-50th fight to add the remaining 3 welterweight belts to his collection, having 4 belts under your name. Now, if that's not impressive, then I don't know what is. Naoya Inoue followed in Crawford's footsteps to become four-belt champion for the second time. The monster continued to advertise the lower weight classes with his speed and knockout power, dispatching of both of his opponents in his first two fights at super bantamweight. In his first bout in his new weight class, Inoue won the WBC and WBO straps when he beat the previously undefeated champion Stephen Fulton via 8th round TKO. Inoue would conquer the division in his next bout when he knocked out Marlon Tapales. With his win over Tapales, Naoya Inoue became the second male boxer in the four-belt era to win the undisputed crown in two divisions. Terence Crawford did it in a 6-year period, but Naoya Inoue achieved it in a span of 378 days. Everyone was talking about the monster. He did what Bud did, but he did it better. But if you're thinking, why didn't Naoya become the fighter of the year? Well, the key word here is second. Crawford was the first to have 4 belts. Inoue came in second. Plus, come on, of course they were gonna give it to Crawford. Terence Crawford is a brand. Another worthy candidate for the fighter of the year was none other than Devin Haney. Devin Haney also made a strong case by defending his undisputed lightweight status against Vasily Lomachenko before moving up to 140 and dethroning WBC champion Regis Prograis. But let's be real, Devin Haney is not all that. I mean, put him in the ring with the likes of Gervonta Davis or Shakur Stevenson and then see. Haney will get exposed. Terence Crawford is the king of the town. And it's not just me who's saying it. If you don't take my word, then believe Mike Tyson. If there's anyone who knows everything there is to know about boxing, it's the legend Iron Mike himself. And he seems pretty satisfied that Crawford was named Fighter of the Year. They gave it to the right man. Terence Crawford is a different animal. Most fighters at that age start declining. He gets better and better each fight. He takes care of himself. He's a student of the game. They better quit playing with Bud. You heard the man. But you know, if Mike Tyson is on one side, then Floyd Mayweather has got to be on the other side. Just take a look at what Mayweather said. What a joke. That was so stupid. Giving Crawford the Fighter of the Year title. Come on, you gotta be kidding me. They should have given it to Inoue. And if not him, then they should have given it to Gervonta Davis. Terence Crawford never deserved it. Why are we even talking about that guy? It's disappointing to see we got new stars rising like Inoue, and y'all can't respect that. Damn, Floyd really let it out there. I mean, we know his rivalry with Terence Crawford goes back a long way. It all started when Crawford blamed money for ruining that sport of boxing. Now that's gotta sting for sure. It's no surprise why money would be against Terence Crawford, but saying Gervonta should have been the Fighter of the Year. Now that's too much of a stretch if you ask me. I mean, we all knew Tank was gonna finish the job with the Flash. There's only one man who deserved it, and it's Terence Crawford. Just look at what the fans are saying. One of them wrote this on Twitter. They gave it to the right man. I mean, Bud has been the most talked about boxer of the year. His performance against Spence was next level. Another fan said Bud deserved it for sure. Well, as you can see, the fans are okay with Bud being the Fighter of the Year. Well, you can't say the same for Naoya Inoue. Guess we'll have to just wait and see how this one plays out. So there you have it, Fight World. That's all I have for you today. Make sure to like this video, comment, and share. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel, and I'll see you next time. Until then, peace out.